I saw billions of possible futures, billions of deaths.
We've got to stop you from vanishing.
So what do we do first?
Welcome to a world where anything can and probably will happen.
We can still change the future.
Welcome to Earth 1.
Oh, great. Another angry one.
I have to prepare the team for this crisis.
Welcome back, everyone. We got brand new Flash, brand new Smallville, Superman to talk about. There's even a Birds of Prey trailer coming up that I'll talk about at the end of the video, too. They're still filming the very first episode of the crossover right now, so we'll break it all down. And if you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing Easter egg videos, trailer videos, all season long for all the Crisis stuff, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. I'll also be doing special giveaways every week because Crisis is such a big deal, so I'll explain that at the end of the video, too. I'll talk about the Superman Smallville stuff that they're doing right now, then I'll talk about the negative Flash scene. If you're a big Flash comic book fan, they're doing a lot of really big comic book stuff from the Rebirth era. Recently, they just posted a new scene of Tom Welling's Superman hanging out with Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and his version of Lois Lane. Because Erica Durant's Lois Lane is nowhere to be found in this, I'm assuming that it's Tom Welling's Superman who's come from Smallville Earth to Earth 38, Supergirl's Smallville Earth, to hang out with Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. What's going on with the crossover, this is the schedule, is that the Supergirl episode is the first episode, so most of the episode will probably take place on Supergirl's Earth 38, which means that at some point early in the episode, either someone from Team Flash or one of the Supergirl characters will have to go to Smallville's Earth to grab Tom Welling's Superman and tell him what's going on with Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then bring him into the fray to join the fight. So this kind of confirms that they do have bigger plans for Tom Welling's Superman. Even Mark Guggenheim this morning was saying, we've been planning this crossover for 10 years. Earlier, Stephen Amell said that there would be no crossover if not for Tom Welling in the Smallville TV show. So Tom Welling gets to be in the crossover, meaning that they probably have a much bigger role than we imagined for him. Remember last season when they had a whole bunch of Tyler Hoechlin's Superman in every single episode and a whole bunch of his Lois Lane? They did this whole subplot with them getting married and then her getting pregnant, them going away to Argo City at the end of that so she could give birth to John Kent in safety. So they're back now. She clearly doesn't look like she's pregnant anymore, so I'm assuming a full year has come and she's given birth to that baby wherever it winds up in the episode. But hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better about what they're doing with Tom Welling's Superman during the crossover. Like, he's not going to show up for 5 minutes and then just disappear. It doesn't really say a lot about what they're doing with the other Smallville characters, and obviously they still haven't confirmed which other Smallville actors they're going to. They're still trying to get Linda Carter Wonder Woman, but it seems like that might actually wind up happening now. So there might be a version of Wonder Woman during the crossover too. I've already talked a lot about Batman, but moving into the negative Flash stuff. So this is stuff for the main arc in the first half of the season of the Flash TV show that sort of leads into Crisis on Infinite Earths, slightly different from the Superman Smallville stuff that's going on. Recently, they just finished filming either episodes 7 or 8 of The Flash this season. All the crossovers are going to be in early December, so it'll be episode 9 of all the TV shows, the mid-season finale. It makes sense because there's going to be a big break in the crossover. Based on the way the schedule looks, the first 3 episodes of the crossover will air at the beginning of December, then they'll go on break for the holiday, then come back in January, then the second half of the crossover will air. So because they're filming that first episode of the crossover right now, this negative Flash scene that they're filming for the Flash TV show is probably from episode 8. If you haven't been reading the Flash Rebirth comics, a couple years ago when they started that, they did a negative Flash arc where the Reverse Flash effectively pushes the Flash, Barry Allen, into the negative Speed Force. It basically poisons him. Then he emerges from the negative Speed Force, this really monstrous looking version of himself, and they just called him the Negative Flash because he was full of negative Speed Force. They kind of did something like that with Nora last season during Flash Season 5, where Reverse Flash sort of tricked her into using the negative Speed Force as if it were the dark side of the Force, talking about Star Wars Easter eggs.
Crushing you, wrecking you, shattering your soul into a million little pieces, and suddenly, you are no longer you. You are part of something different now, part of a negative force.
Even though I wasn't completely happy with what they did with that part of the arc, her Breaking Bad entering the negative Speed Force was just sort of a setup for the concept of the negative Flash, even though they didn't roll super hard on Nora negative Flash. The reason why people think that this is negative Flash is because if you look at his fingertips, they're looking like claws, and that's basically what the negative Flash's hands look like. Obviously, the rest of it would be CG. His lightning changes colors a little bit. He gives off black lightning in the comics, but that's kind of hard to pull off with the TV special effects, so his lightning on the TV show when he's negative Flash might be a slightly different color. But a lot of people just wondering why he would go negative Flash right before the crossover, and if it has something to do with Crisis on Infinite Earths, because the negative Speed Force gives you a lot of different types of Flash powers than the positive regular Speed Force, as you would consider it. So the negative Speed Force is a sort of buffer to the time-space continuum. That's how Reverse Flash has been able to survive all the timeline changes into present day. That's how we still have this version of Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash in the future, if you're wondering how he survived all the major Flashpoint timeline changes the past couple of seasons. So if the first half of the season is all about Barry and Team Flash trying to avoid his eventual impending death, disappearing during Crisis, that would be one solution for them. But it also might have something to do with the Bloodwork arc. We also have some new information about what's going on the second half of the season with a brand new villain. I know everybody wants to see Red Death. Just as I was getting ready to make this video, they announced that Sendahil Ramamurthy, the person who's playing the Bloodwork character, the same actor from Heroes, everybody making all kinds of Heroes jokes when he's on screen, he just joined another TV show that's going to be filming early next year when he would normally be filming Flash episodes, so it just seemingly confirms that he will not be around the second half of the season. The showrunner kind of implied that there would be a different villain the second half, but TV show people say things all the time to try and mislead you. This just confirms that there will probably be some other giant big villain the second half of the season after Crisis. Here's the thing about Red Death though, they've already teased it during the Flash Forwards when we got the Nora episode from last year. Even though they've wiped that timeline, we're still getting Godspeed during the Flash Season 6 Episode 1 somehow. Somewhere from the multiverse, a Godspeed appears. So if they're bringing that back, it's true that they're probably going to bring a version of Red Death back, albeit a slightly different version than the one that was name-dropped during this future Nora episode at the Flash Museum. Early speculation, if they're going to make Red Death a speedster, they could just turn it into a negative Flash situation, although I don't think that they would roll hard on an evil version of Barry fighting himself during the season again. So just expect a couple big changes to Red Death if they're going to roll hard on that. This scene of Reverse Flash teaching Nora how to enter the negative Speed Force and utilize it is a bit of a dark twist on the speech that he gave to Barry, "You're one with the Speed Force," when he was teaching him how to phase during Flash Season 1. It's meant to be the evil version of that, one of the best Reverse Flash scenes from last season. Now in the comics, Reverse Flash sort of tricked Barry into poisoning himself with negative Speed Force, so just expect them to have a fun twist on that comic book arc, because he was negative Flash when Bloodwork showed up in the comics, so of course, Bloodwork is the villain the first half of the season here, they would do some negative Speed Force stuff. But in related Superman crossover news, they're going to be filming the crossover episodes for the next month or so we're going to get way more pictures, behind the scenes clips of them doing really cool stuff. I'll try to include that in all the big crossover Easter egg videos that I do week to week, so no worries. I'm hoping we get some pictures of older Kevin Conroy Batman at some point too, but they might keep those close to the vest. They did say that they were planning on dropping a couple more big reveals and promos pretty soon though, so just expect to hear more big Crisis stuff going on. They even just posted that preview of Brandon Routh going full Kingdom Come Superman. This actually looks great. He's probably going to be one of the bigger characters during the crossover, talking about which version of Superman they spend the most time with. Remember, his version of Superman is sort of an older version of the Christopher Reeve Superman, because his Superman film, Superman Returns, was meant to be a sort of sequel to Superman 2. And the really good news is they finally confirmed that they're dropping the brand new official Birds of Prey trailer, the full trailer, tomorrow. So that will be my next big DC video. It's just the beginning, and what's happening is I'll do Flash Ring giveaways every week till we get closer to the crossover, then I might change it to something a little bit more special, just based on people's suggestions. All you have to do to enter those is be a subscriber and leave your best Crisis on Infinite Earths theory on the video. While you wait for everything, click here for all my Flash Season 6 and crossover trailer videos, and click here for that brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 teaser trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.